Probably for me, it's that we're not all the same. We're as diverse as the rest of the community. And I mean, if you think about the LGBTIQA plus community, just within that, there's such diversity in that. And then if you think, as in my case, as an older gay man, the diversity in that group as well. For example, we have different lived experiences. If you think about when we came out, how we came out, and all that sort of thing. But what we've done in our life, we've got different life goals. We're at different stages in life, different ethnic, cultural backgrounds, and so forth, and all the things that implies. For example, how visible you can be perhaps because of your upbringing and so forth. And in my own case, from relatively conservative rural community in central Queensland, we have different interests, and like not all gay men hate sports. there are gay men that play sport. We have different family structures, like within our immediate family, like my husband, but then my extended family, mainly in Queensland, and we engage differently with both our community and then the broader community as well. So again, for example, some people like to go out dancing every weekend or go to the pub or whatever. Others live a very different suburban lifestyle that anybody in the community would live. I was one of the co-founders of the ALLAN program at UWA, and we came up with, and I think we probably adapted it from some of the ALLAN programs in North America. We used a definition, I think they still use it at UWA, and that definition is an ally affirms the experiences and rights of LGBTIQA plus persons and chooses to challenge the homophobic and heterosexist values of others in a variety of ways, including by individual example and personal awareness. Now that, when I reread that, it's like time has changed over the last 20 years, and some of the terminology could be updated. Using homophobic, there's other phobias, I guess, these days that incorporate that. But to me, the general sentiment of that is what an ally does. And for me, there are several points, I guess, for a good ally. One of the important things is being educated, or at least being willing to learn about the issues in our community. So developing awareness, not becoming an expert or anything, but just being aware and developing empathy, however you might go about doing that. Secondly, reflecting on your own personal beliefs and thinking about the community and whether your beliefs actually align with that, and what you might do to change or become more aware about your attitudes and attitudes that fit with the community. Knowing where to access resources. Again, you're not an expert, but knowing where the resources are, experts are, services that you can refer people to. So not being the expert, but knowing where to refer people. Not being judgmental, and that applies to anybody really, but basically being supportive, but not being directive. So supporting somebody's issue, if they want to talk to you about something, but not telling them you must do this, you must do that, but telling them these are the resources, or this is the experience I've had, or whatever. So supportive without being directive, and someone who steps up and is willing to challenge attitudes in the community, and that's not easy to do. As an ally myself, I find that very difficult. Partly that makes me vulnerable, and if you are not part of our community, you might feel vulnerable as well. It's like, oh, people are going to think that I'm gay or lesbian or whatever. So it's actually working through that process of how comfortable you are doing that. And it doesn't mean you have to jump up and down. It might be quite subtle things that you do to step up and challenge. I think one thing we do too much is judge each other. And maybe that's a generational thing too, between generations. Older generations might see younger generation doing stuff and be a little bit critical of that. And I was like, hey, it's their life, you know, and then think back, I was probably doing that back then too, but, you know, life's changed. But yeah, we need to be more understanding of the diversity of our community. So we all make our own choices and we need to respect those choices. We might not like them, but it's the same within the broader community. We just need to respect each other and then support where we can. So even when I was asked to do this, it was like, yeah, I did that 20 years ago. And then I thought about it, thought, no, there's, you know, I'm still part of the community and there are still a lot of issues. And if I can share my experience, whether that's for the older community or younger community or the broader community, then yeah, I should be doing that.